So if you're talking to, let's say, an older family member or older friend, and you're just looking for a new bike, and you're asking, should I go for a carbureted bike or should I go for fuel injected? And of course, if you are talking to, say, older family member or friend, it is very likely that he's gonna say go for the carbureted ones, it's better, and he's gonna give you reasons like it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier to fix, it's a lot easier to maintain. And to be fair, it is sort of right. But my take on it is that if you can buy a bike with fuel injection, you should always pick one with fuel injection instead. Now here's the reason. Yes, bikes that are carbureted generally tend to be cheaper. I mean, when you're buying them brand new. And of course, a carburetor being a simple mechanical solution to delivering the correct fuel air mixture to your motorcycle, of course tends to be easier to, you know, troubleshoot yourself. You know, if you are not a trained mechanic, you could always learn how to, you know, troubleshoot a carburetor over time pretty simply. But you see, the thing is, most of us, we are riders, we are not mechanics. Some of us may enjoy the, you know, the thrill of taking apart our bikes and figuring out what's the problem with it and trying to fix it ourselves. But most of the time, I am pretty sure you are not gonna want to deal with a faulty carburetor. A faulty carburetor brings a lot of problems, and carburetors themselves are generally prone to problems. You see, carburetors are mechanical, alright? They don't rely on a complex computer system to deliver the right fuel air mixture. They rely on suction, gravity to deliver that mixture to your engine. So what happens is, if your bike tips over or is generally in a position where gravity cannot work, a carburetor doesn't work, but fuel injection one does. That's why when you see, if you are riding a carbureted bike and it tips over and you try to start it up, after you bring it back up, it takes a while, you know, for the float bowl to refill. Whereas with a fuel injected machine, most of the fuel is going to be kept under the proper pressure, proper mixture by a computer, and it will be delivered as is. We're not going to get that with a carburetor. So the other thing is rattling. Okay, most bikes are, you know, combustion engines. You're gonna have explosions going on, your bike's gonna rattle, and carburetors rely on precision tightening of, you know, every single part, you know, to be a particular tightness. And if it's not of a particular setting, it's not going to give you the proper fuel air mixture. So what happens is, over time, as the bike ages and the bike is used, carburetor tends to fall out of spec. And because it's a mechanical object, it also has parts that wear out. Not that EFI doesn't wear out, EFI does wear out also, but the computer is able to compensate for that, whereas the carburetor can. So what this means is that even though it's cheaper to send a carburetor for servicing with your local mechanic as opposed to, you know, a licensed mechanic for an EFI, you're going to do it a lot more on the carburetor unless you are able to diagnose the problem and fix it yourself, which is a lot of headache. I mean, if you are a fan of riding and not having to worry about fixing your bike, then by all means go with an EFI. If you are more of a mechanic person, then maybe a carburetor will suit you, because if you are able to fix carburetor issues yourself, the carburetor tends to cost a lot less, whereas an EFI requires extensive setups, computer setups. You need a laptop, you need the software and all that jizz to get it set up properly, whereas, you know, with carburetor you could just do it with a basic toolkit. The other thing is, in general, EFI just performs better. Even if you're not talking about the debate about whether you're gonna be doing the wrenching or not, it just performs better. The thing is, okay, look at this way. Carburetors fine-tune your fuel air mixture very, very precisely with the onboard computer. Alright, and they can compensate for altitude, they can compensate for riding style. So what this means is that you are going to be receiving better mileage on your EFI machine compared to the carburetor. Carburetor is just going to give you, you know, a flat delivery. Unless you manually change the settings on your carburetor, of course, but that takes too much time. Most people are more interested in riding, they're not going to do that, so you end up with worse fuel economy. So well, I laid out all the points, I mean, in favor of EFI. What do you guys think? Would you still prefer to go for carbureted bikes, or are you more of an EFI person? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give me a thumbs down. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do give me a subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.